You guys, I just want to say something. I feel so dumb and stupid. I don't know. I just found out that Jamaica is not an African country. Jesus!
Welcome all to the channel. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today's video. I got an interesting story to dive into, so make sure to stay around with us until the very end. Please consider giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel and turning on the notification bell. Have you ever met someone who genuinely believed Jamaica was part of Africa? It may sound surprising, but many Africans grew up thinking exactly that. And while Jamaica is actually an island in the Caribbean, this common belief reveals something much deeper than geography. It reflects a powerful cultural history and spiritual connection that has endured for centuries.
You guys, I just want to say something. I feel so dumb and stupid. I don't know. I just found out that Jamaica is not an African country. Jesus! Like, I don't know where that misinformation came from. I don't know. I just found out recently, like, it's in North America. Jamaica is not an African country. I'm African. How do I not know that information? I just found out recently while I was speaking to somebody from Jamaica. Jamaica is not an African country. Jesus! Please tell me. There are people that tell me I'm enlightening you. You are just finding out for the first time, so I feel much better. This thing has been on my mind for days now. I can't believe that. Jesus.
One thing for sure, Jamaica is in Africa. I don't care what the geographers say, because do you know how much that scarred me when I was 10? Do you understand?
So, I think it's safe to say that there are a few Africans growing up who genuinely thought that Jamaica was in Africa. And I am guilty. I am one of those people who genuinely thought Jamaica was an African country. And I remember growing up, my dad used to play Bob Marley so much. And on top of that, the vinyl, we used to call it LPs, the cover was clearly a black African man. So it didn't make sense that if anyone had to tell me, no, this man is not in Africa or from Africa, you know, he's obviously African, but that Jamaica's not in Africa made no sense. But I know better now, guys. I'm grown up, but I do know something. So there's this other African country, and they do not consider themselves black. I don't even know if they think they're African. It's a blue flag. I know it's not Botswana, but maybe if we can like swap them with the Caribbean. Just a thought. Use it, don't use it.
Is Jamaica in Africa? It was about somebody who asked me if Jamaica is in Africa, somebody who came to a dancehall class, and there was one of the comments, the replies, and of course, I know that, but I feel like, well, first of all, it was like geographical question, let's say. It was from a person who was thinking about going to Jamaica, so she would think in her head that she's going to a totally different place. But of course, like that's already true, right, what the comment is saying. But I feel like it takes away a lot from the history of Jamaica, from the slavery history and everything that made Jamaica the way it is. So it was just an ignorant question, or it is an ignorant question if Jamaica is in Africa. We just need to stay educated. So Jamaica is in North America.
South Africans are okay with things not making sense. For example, Jamaica's not in Africa, Haiti's not in Africa, Brazil's not in Africa, but I've come across some South Africans that in theory know this, but in reality, like, they don't compute it or process it, right? For example, I'll tell people about my Jamaican friends. I'll be like, oh my gosh, like, Jamaicans have housed me and made me feel more welcome and helped my transition a lot more than, you know, some African people. And they'll be like, why are you separating Jamaicans from Africans? Is Jamaica not in Africa? I'm like, bro, we were in the same geography class. You know that Jamaica is not in Africa. And then people would have to dig in their knowledge and be like, oh my gosh, in theory, yes, I do know that it's not in Africa. But the way that Jamaican culture, Haitian culture, even some people think that Brazil, not as often Brazil comes up, but some people do think that Brazil is in Africa, like they would know it in theory that it's not in Africa, but then practically and realistically, like their brains just see these cultures, the spirituality within these cultures, their expression, the color, the ceremoniousness, the way that Africans feel loved when they're in these countries, and they'll be like, yeah, this must be an African person, even though the theory we learned in class is cognitively dissonant to that, or it is incongruent to the information that their brain feeds them. And I find that so fascinating. And I think then when you approach the African continent or South Africa, knowing that things make sense not making sense, knowing that people can maneuver the countries in the world in their heads to make sense of identity in the world, I think it lets you approach South African ignorance differently, and South African history and political context differently, because there is a context as to why people think that Jamaica is in Africa. And it's not everyone, it's some people, it's probably a minority before people come at me. But yeah, I hope I'm making sense.
Is Jamaica in Africa? That's a question that I was asked a couple of weeks ago at the end of a dancehall class. And dancehall is a style that comes from Jamaica, so I was quite surprised that somebody who comes for a class has really just no idea what kind of class you're going for, especially that she was in that class a couple of times before. So I was shocked. I kept quiet for some time, a few seconds, because I wasn't expecting a question like that. But in case anybody else is wondering, and to answer that question, no, Jamaica is not in Africa. Jamaica is an island that is located in the Caribbean. And maybe let me insert a map so you can visualize and know where exactly in the world Jamaica is located.
The bond between Africa and Jamaica began during the transatlantic slave trade, when millions of Africa were forcefully taken to the Caribbean. Although they were separated from their homeland, they carried their tradition, language, beliefs, music, and custom with them. Over generations, this African influence became deeply woven into Jamaican identity, creating a connection that still resonates today. One of the strongest bridges between Africa and Jamaica is music. Reggae, made famous around the world by legendary Jamaican artists, has become more than just a genre. It is a symbol of freedom, resistance, unity, and African pride. Across the African continent, reggae continues to inspire millions, and many Africans see its message as speaking directly to their own history and experiences. The connection goes beyond music. Jamaican patois contains words and expressions that trace back to several West African languages. Even traditional Jamaican dishes, storytelling, rhythm, and cultural celebration share similarity with customs found across Africa. These shared traditions remind both Africa and Jamaica that their histories remain closely connected. Another reason this relationship stands out is the strong sense of mutual support. Jamaicans frequently celebrate African achievement in sports, music, and culture, while Africans proudly embrace Jamaican success as if it were their own. Whether it's cheering for Jamaican athletes, enjoying dancehall and reggae music, or celebrating African accomplishment, there's a genuine feeling of shared identity between the two people. Perhaps that's why many people say the bond between Africa and Jamaica isn't just historical, it is spiritual. Even though thousands of miles separate them, many believe the ancestral connection has never been broken. It's a reminder that while borders may divide nation, history, culture, and shared heritage continue to unite people across continents. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you thought, what are your thoughts in the comment section.